Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Luke Welch, who is an assistant coach at UMO. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you tell me about how you got your coaching experience?
Yeah, so whenever I went to Purdue University and I got my degree in social studies education, part of that process was you had to do a semester of student teaching. To me, personally, I didn't feel like I could juggle both student teaching and achieving my college goals on being an All-American and national champ. So I pushed that back a semester, and while I did that, I went back home, student taught at a middle school, and I coached at my old high school, and I coached at my old middle school back in the day. And it kind of led me to the path I'm on now, to where I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, I wanted to get my feet wet in college coaching, and it was something that, I think I was definitely capable of doing, and I was getting a lot of offers at the time to go coach. So to me, it was more of God telling me to go pursue that dream.
What were some of the offers that you had?
So right after NCAAs my senior year, I got a call from Stanford University, and they got a great coaching staff over there, and they wanted me to be an RTC wrestler for them. So I just train at their regional training center and be almost like a paid athlete and work with their lower weights off the side. Brown University reached out to me with interest, and then I had Harvard reach out to me this last year before talking to Coach Patassel. And I even had one of my buddies is a coach at Duke University, and talked to him on and off. And it was kind of funny because a bunch of those guys are Purdue wrestlers, either alum or coaches. And Coach Patassel was Purdue alum as well. So that's kind of how I got wrapped up in everything. And I just narrowed down all my different offers, what I wanted to accomplish, where my end goal was. And to me, I wanted to start a program myself and be a college coach. So I figured, why not start from scrap and build a program here, learn from all the coaches I can, and then go out and hopefully one day be a head college coach.
Can you talk about your experience wrestling at Purdue?
Wrestling at Purdue University, it was great. I had two older brothers who wrestled at Purdue University, and it's something that I take great pride in. We three brothers being in a lineup for 2 years at Purdue University. That's in the Big Ten. That's pretty hard to do. And at the time, my senior year of high school, I got recruited by Coach Hinkle. And after my first year, we had a coaching change. Coach Ursland came in with some new coaches, Coach Tonelli and Coach Todd. And, it was a big, kind of like a hit to the chest or hit in the gut for a lot of guys. But at the same time, it is what you make it. Guys bought into the new coaching staff. There's a lot to learn. You can never know everything with wrestling. So that's kind of what we did. Bring in great coaches like Coach Tyrell Todd, who was a 3-time All-American. He took us under his wing, and Coach Ursland did the same thing, Coach Tonelli. And I had a couple of other coaches throughout my years, Coach Maple and Coach Shop. And, that's kind of why Purdue University is doing so well right now. They were top 5 in the Big Ten, and they were making a run to be a top 10 contender in the NCAA tournament before the virus hit and everything got put on quarantine. So it's something that I take great pride in, and knowing that I'll be a Purdue wrestling alum all my life, it's pretty awesome.
What were some of your accomplishments at Purdue?
So I was a 4-time varsity starter for Purdue. I got 4th in the Big Ten my senior year, and then I was blood round at nationals, which one match away from being the All-American. I was a 2-time university All-American, and I was a 1-time university national champion at 57 kilograms.
What was the recruitment process like for you as a player?
So with recruiting, you get letters all the time. If, you go to state, you're a placer, state champ, you get letters, but you can't really talk to any coaches until your junior year. And I think at the time then, it was my senior year. You couldn't talk until a certain deadline. And I didn't really get too caught up in it. My dad kind of always told me, don't get caught up in, this school's talking to you, this school's talking to you. and then you get distracted what your end goal is. So for me, it was all about staying focused on being a state champ and trying to be the best person I can be. I wasn't set on, oh, look at me, I got all these offers. It was more of what school is going to be the best for me, and where am I going to excel even after wrestling? What's going to set me up for life after wrestling? And that's something that I even do with my guys whenever I'm recruiting, because I don't want them getting caught up in, oh, I'm only wrestling, I'm only a wrestling, I'm only a wrestler. It's, wrestling one day might not be there. What are you going to do after that? Are you going to go into business? Are you going to go into medical school? There's a lot of different scenarios that you can do. And at the time, it is what you make it. And at Purdue University, they're a well-known school. At first, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was even talking to IU at the time. And I think they had a coaching change during the recruiting process. So I was like, I don't want to go somewhere where I didn't really know the coaches too well. So Purdue was my other option, and I knew a bunch of the Indiana wrestlers there on the team. And then at the same time, my older brothers were there. So I knew what I was getting into, and they had a family culture that I really liked. And I saw myself really, striving to reach my goals. Even though I fell short of them, it was still an experience that I loved and I wouldn't take back for the world.
Did you have some offers like from UMO and other colleges around here?
In North Carolina, I do not believe I did. Whenever I was wrestling, I didn't really go out into the different tournaments that were in the off season. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I ran cross country and played baseball. My dad's head baseball coach at my high school. So for me, it was difficult to get seen. So I think a lot of times when college coaches saw me, it was because they were at the Indiana State tournament. And I mean, something that's special about Indiana wrestling is there's only one state tournament, where North Carolina, you got 4 different state tournament classes, 1A, 2A. In Indiana, it's just one state tournament. So whenever you have 14 state champs, those are the only 14 state champs. So whenever, and really the process is kind of skewed and messed up getting to the finals because there's no true wrestlebacks. But I mean, college coaches know, hey, if this guy's a state champ or a 4-time placer, like, he's pretty tough, we should go after him.
Switching to now that you're a coach, how does the recruitment process change for you?
I don't think it's changed too much. Whenever I was at Purdue, Coach Ursuline always, he put recruits with me, and he kind of asked me my opinion, how is the kid as a person? Is he someone that's going to help us out, or is he going to be someone that's going to, almost be like cancer of the program? Is he going to distract guys, or are we going to be able to bring Purdue wrestling to a top 10 team in the future with this recruit? And that's something that, I've learned a lot from all my coaches. I'm very thankful for that. And that's what I do with my guys. Whenever I'm recruiting, I try to look for who they are as a person, not just if they're good at wrestling. I try to look into the grades as well, because I know if a kid has good grades, that means he's willing to put in the work to be successful on the mat. So really, I'm just looking at the person, not really just, oh, what have you done? Oh, you've been a 3-time state champ. For me, I think it's more important to bring in good individuals who are going to really put a spotlight on UMO in a positive manner.
How do you describe this class of 2020 coming in?
We got a good class coming in. We got a bunch of state champs. We got some guys that I think were Fargo All-Americans and maybe even ranked nationally. So for me, we haven't accomplished anything, right? We're a first year program, so there's a lot of firsts last year. We got our first dual meet win. We got guys that were winning tournaments. We got guys that qualified for nationals. So there's a lot of good things. Things don't happen overnight. So with these recruits coming in, Coach Willis and I, we're happy for them. We got a lot of studs, but at the same time, we got to put in the work. We can't be satisfied. We got to keep a positive outlook on things, because there's going to be difficult times. I mean, heck, look at the world right now with the quarantine going on. There's difficult times that are going to happen in our lives, and we got to persevere, and we got to keep moving, keep going, and we got to control what we can control, and that's our attitude and our effort.
As a coach with the coronavirus, how was recruiting? Was it tough for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. No one's ever gone through something like this. I got a lot of coaches in the Big Ten D1 that I can talk to for advice if I'm ever struggling. But to be honest, it's just business as usual. The only difference is we can't have interaction with the guys face to face, and we can't bring them on campus until June 1st. So from a standpoint of recruiting, we're still talking to them on the phone, shooting them texts, seeing how they're doing. I mean, we've even had UMO has done a great job. They've sent us videos for us to send to recruits of, hey, here's what campus looks like. We got pictures of what our room's going to be looking like. So, I mean, it's a ongoing process, and it's interesting, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. Wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to do it in the first place.
Do you see some of your recruits like Colby Perry, Tyler Hughes being a big asset for UMO?
Yeah, absolutely. When you got guys that are state champs, state qualifiers, state placers, from really in state and even out of state, every person has an important role. It's not just our 10 starters. Our 10 starters are our guys. We got guys in there that are going to be pushing them every day. The backup's just as important as our starter, because the starter could go down with a season-ending injury, and then from there it's next guy up. So you don't want to ever just be looking at who your 10 starters are. You want to have just a room of killers, guys hungry to get after it, chasing the same goals. And I think that's something that we're building here. And it's going to be an ongoing process, but the future looks bright, and we're excited for it.
What advice would you give upcoming athletes getting recruited?
To me, since I didn't really get recruited, trust the process, trust your high school coaches. Your high school coaches have a lot of connections, and reach out to college coaches. And besides that, do your part in the classroom, do your part on the mat, do your part whenever you're out with your friends. Don't get in trouble to where it's going to put a negative spin on who you are as a person. Be a good person in society, in the classroom, for your family, for your parents. Your parents raised you to be respectful, and that's what we're trying to bring in. We're trying to bring in kids that are overall the perfect fit for us, not just kids that are fit one or two of our descriptions. We want to bring in the perfect picture so that everybody on the team has the same goal and the same aspirations as the next guy up.
Where can my listeners find you at?
Yeah, so, I got a Twitter page. I don't get on it a lot, but my Instagram is Welch _ actually it might be Coach Welch _ 125. And then I even have Facebook. If you look me up, Luke Welch. I got better hair than before the quarantine hit. Haven't had a haircut, so I apologize. But yeah, I got Twitter, I got Facebook, and if you want, you can go to our UMO page and you can find my email there, lwelch@umo.edu. And I think even our webpage there, it lists my cell phone information. So if you ever want to shoot me a text that you're interested in college wrestling, we'd be happy to have you check out the campus and see if it's really something you're interested in.
Thank you, Coach Welch, for your interview. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, and you can find us at YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Welch, for your interview.
Thank you.